If you're over 50 and health insurance feels confusing or exhausting, you're not alone. Most people don't struggle with their health insurance because they made a bad choice, but because no one ever explained it clearly.
In this video, I'll walk you through the real-world pros and cons of the most common health insurance options in the United States, so you can make decisions more easily and feel more confident about your choices.
When you pass 50, health stops being something you think about later. It becomes something that quietly follows you every day. A routine checkup, a prescription you now take every morning, a small procedure that suddenly turns into a long bill. And that's usually when people realize something uncomfortable. It's not the illness that exhausts them the most. It's the paperwork, the phone calls, the confusion, the feeling of being alone in a system that never slows down. This video is not here to sell you anything. It's here to help you understand, calmly and clearly, what kind of health insurance actually works when you're over 50. Before we talk about companies, we need to talk about how insurance really works. Because many people choose the cheapest plan and then pay the price later in stress and confusion. In your 30s, you choose insurance mostly by price. You rarely go to the doctor, you barely use it, you hope you never need it. After 50, things change. You visit doctors more often, you take medication regularly, you think about prevention, not just emergencies. So the real question is no longer which plan is the cheapest. The real question becomes, when I need care, will this plan make my life easier or harder? Let's remove the jargon. HMO, lower cost, stricter rules. With an HMO, you stay inside one network. You usually need a primary doctor to approve everything. Specialists require referrals. Care outside the system is often not covered. Many people say this: when I was healthy, it was fine. When I wasn't, it felt restrictive. For someone over 50, an HMO can work if you like structure and don't mind following a system. But if you value flexibility, this can feel limiting. PPOs, freedom at a higher price. A PPO gives you choices. You can see specialists without referrals. You can go outside the network if needed. But you pay for that freedom. Monthly premiums are higher. Deductibles are often higher too. People who like PPOs often say, "I don't want permission, I want options." For many over 50, that peace of mind is worth the cost. Here is the simplest explanation of EPO and POS in English. EPO, Exclusive Provider Organization. The exclusive food court. Imagine your insurance gives you a list of 10 specific restaurants in a mall. The rule, you must only eat at these 10 restaurants. If you eat anywhere else, the insurance pays $0 and you pay 100% of the bill. The benefit, you don't need to ask anyone for permission. If you want to visit a specialist within that list, you just walk in. In short, cheaper premiums, freedom inside the network, but no coverage outside. POS, point of service. The guided dining experience. Imagine you have a concierge, your primary care physician, PCP. The rule, whenever you feel hungry, sick, you must go to your concierge first. If you need a special dish, specialist, the concierge must write you a permission slip, referral. The flexibility. If you really want to eat at a fancy restaurant outside the list, you can. However, the insurance will only pay a tiny bit, and you will have to pay a very high price. In short, managed care, flexible but involves more paperwork and permissions. Which one should you choose? Choose EPO if you are generally healthy, want lower monthly costs, and live in an area with a large network of doctors. Choose POS if you want one specific doctor to coordinate all your care, but you still want the safety net option to see an out-of-network specialist if necessary. Choosing a doctor is like dining at a shopping mall.
HMO, the fixed buffet. The concept? One specific restaurant. How it works? You must meet the manager, primary care provider, first, and they lead you to your table. You can only eat what's on that specific menu. If you decide to eat at a different restaurant, you have to pay 100% out of your own pocket. EPO is the exclusive food court. The concept? A food court with about 10 specific stalls. How it works? You are free to choose any stall within this area without asking anyone. However, the moment you step outside this food court, the insurance company won't pay a single cent. POS is the restaurant with a side exit. The concept, a primary restaurant that has a connecting door to the outside. How it works, you still need to see the manager, primary care provider. If you want to eat at a restaurant outside the system, the manager might allow it, but the price of your meal will double or even triple. PPO is the citywide VIP pass. The concept, you hold a pass that lets you eat anywhere you want. How it works? If you eat at a restaurant in-network, you get a huge discount. If you choose a fancy restaurant out of network, the insurance still covers a portion of the bill. You just pay the difference. Quick tips for choosing. HMO. Choose this if your top priority is saving money on monthly premiums. EPO. Choose this if you want to see specialists quickly on your own, but don't want to pay the high costs of a PPO. POS. Choose this if you want a dedicated family doctor but still want a safety net in case you need to see an out-of-state specialist. PPO. Choose this if you have a good income, value maximum convenience, and travel frequently for work or vacation. Case study: the sudden back pain. See how the experience and out-of-pocket costs differ for this 50-year-old patient. With HMO, the process. You must call your primary care physician, PCP, to schedule an appointment first. After the initial exam, your PCP writes a referral for a physical therapist. The cost. You pay only about $70 total for both visits. The downside. It may take 1 to 2 weeks to complete all the paperwork and get approved for treatment. With PPO, the process. You feel the pain, Google the best physical therapist in your area, in network, and walk in for an appointment the very next morning. No referral needed. The cost. You pay a one-time fee of about $80. It's incredibly fast and efficient. The trade-off. Your monthly insurance premium is roughly $170 higher than the HMO plan. With EPO, the process. You go straight to a specialist within the network on your own, no permission required. The cost. If the doctor is in-network, you pay only $60. The risk. If you accidentally visit an out-of-network doctor, you must pay 100% of the bill, which could range from $300 to $500. The question isn't which one is cheaper, it's which one makes your life easier. Now, let's talk about the insurers themselves, not marketing slogans. Real user experiences, the good and the frustrating. Kaiser is different. Insurance and healthcare are one system. Doctors, hospitals, pharmacies, all connected. People who like Kaiser often say, "My doctors know my history. Everything is in one place. I don't argue about bills." People who don't like Kaiser say, "I feel stuck. I can't easily choose outside doctors. If I leave the system, coverage disappears." Kaiser works best if you live in one area, you like structure, you manage chronic conditions. It works less well if you travel often, you want personal freedom in choosing doctors. Blue Cross Blue Shield. This is the most widespread network in the country. Doctors recognize it, hospitals accept it, it works across states. People say, "I can go almost anywhere. I don't worry when I travel." But they also say, every state is different. You must read the plan carefully. Blue Cross is strong for people over 50 who want flexibility and nationwide access. Just don't choose blindly. The details matter. UnitedHealthcare. A very large company. Financially stable. Widely accepted. Positive experiences include
Claims usually go through. It feels reliable. Negative experiences include customer service feels distant. I don't feel personally supported. This plan suits people who value stability and don't need emotional hand-holding. Aetna, part of CVS Health. Aetna's strength is medication. People who take daily prescriptions say, "My drugs are cheaper. Everything connects through CVS." Complaints often include premiums are higher, availability is limited by state. If medication is a major part of your life, Aetna can be very practical. Humana focuses heavily on older adults. Many people say they understand seniors. They make Medicare transitions easier. Others say individual plans are not their strongest. Humana often works best if you are approaching Medicare age and thinking ahead. Here's the quiet truth. After 50, you don't choose insurance to save money. You choose it to save energy. Ask yourself, when I'm tired, will this plan support me? When I'm confused, will I get help? When something goes wrong, will I be fighting or focusing on healing? A simple guide. If you want simplicity and structure, Kaiser. If you want freedom and reach, Blue Cross PPO. If medication matters most, Aetna. If Medicare is coming soon, Humana. There is no perfect plan, only the plan that makes your life calmer. No one enjoys thinking about insurance, but choosing well means fewer battles later. And at this stage of life, peace matters more than anything. This channel exists for people who have lived long enough to value clarity over noise and calm over urgency. Take care of yourself and choose with understanding, not fear.
If this video helped you understand things a little more clearly, consider subscribing to the channel. This is a place where we talk about what truly matters in the second half of life, calmly, honestly, and without rushing. And if you have personal experiences, questions, or concerns about health, lifestyle, or aging, leave a comment below. Share what you're going through. I read them, and I'll do my best to support you with clear, thoughtful guidance. You don't have to figure everything out alone.